Hi there, I'm Christopher Dunnigan. This is HandmadeInVermont.com, and today we're talking about the Hubbardton Forge Griffin Pendant. This is a rod-hung pendant. We're going to talk about its size, we're going to talk about adjustable ranges, finishes, and glass options, and we're going to start with the size of the fixture itself, the size of this pendant. It's a large pendant. A couple things to kind of keep in mind. When you get into a pendant this size, it's going to ship on a pallet. It's going to ship by what's called common carrier, and that's an 18-wheeler truck. We have to make arrangements with you to where that's going to be delivered to. It's not something your UPS man is just going to toss into your hand. So something to think about. Let's talk about the size of the fixture in relation to tables that it could be over if you're going to be using this over a dining table. This is an oval fixture when you look at it. It is 63 inches long and 39 inches wide, and then the height of the what we call the decoration, not the overall height to the ceiling, but the pendant itself, the bottom part of it, is 22 inches tall. So 63 inches is a pretty good size for the length of this. It's obviously not going over a 68 table. It's going to be pretty tight over a 72-inch table unless you had a pretty tall ceiling that we could bring this high up. So it would work in your situation. Overall heights, now we're talking about from the bottom of the fixture to the ceiling itself. Let me circle back for a second. So the 63 and the 39 isn't measured from the size of the bottom of it. You'll notice when you look at this fixture that those larger measurements are actually from the middle of that decoration. So it kind of tapers down on the bottom. So just kind of keep that in mind when you're mocking this up, which I hope you will do. Now let's go back to the adjustable ranges. So these are telescoping fixtures. You've probably seen other Hubbardton Forge videos I've done that talk about how these rods telescope. There's a clutch and a set screw, and you get to choose from a number of different lengths of those pipes to get you different ranges, to get you different heights. So we're going to be measuring from the bottom of the fixture to the ceiling right now, and we're going to talk about the short is going to be 31.1 to 37.7. So that's, remember, from the ceiling down to the bottom, and it can telescope up. The standard is 37.4 to 49.6. Long is 49.2 to 69.4. If you need longer than the long or shorter than the short, just contact me. Actually, what I would recommend is if you're buying this fixture to begin with, contact me anyway, because I'm going to want to know how tall your ceiling is, how big your table is, and I want to go over all these details to make sure that you guys are buying the correct fixture for your situation. So there you go. Canopy on the ceiling, 5.5 by 9.5, and has 3 of those telescoping rods dropping from that. Goes over a regular junction box, something to think about. Not a big deal. What else are we talking about? Let's talk about glass. So you're going to have 5 different types of glass. 4 of them are Hubbardton Forge glass, and 1 is Hubbardton Forge teaming up with a Vermont glass blower. We're going to go over Hubbardton's versions of their glass first. First one we're going to talk about is called water glass, and water glass is a clear glass and has a slight ripple in the glass. Hubbardton's glass is hand blown as well, but these are going to be a little thinner and a little bit more delicate than the other option we're going to talk about in a second. So water glass, again, clear with a little bit of a ripple to it and a blunt end. Hubbardton's are going to be these, it's called a number 1 glass shape. It's a dome that's 6 inches by 5 inches. So that's the water glass. After water glass, we're going to go and talk about opal glass. And opal is a matte white glass. It's opaque, you can't see through it. It's going to warm up a little bit when the lights are on, but when the light is off, it's going to be that crisp white. So keep that in mind, and that's opal. After opal, you're going to get into pearl. And pearl is an off-white, kind of a linen color that warms up to a vanilla yogurt and has a slight swirly pattern in it. So if the opal is just too stark, you would move on to pearl for your whatever you're doing design-wise. And then after that, you get into what's called stone. Stone is going to be more like a Vermont marble. It's kind of beige when the lights are off, and it ambers up when the light's on. And it's going to have little black lines and smudges just like a Vermont marble would. So those are your 4 Hubbardton Forge options. Now we're going to move on to Hubbardton Forge teaming up with a very famous glass blowing company called Simon Pierce. A lot of you guys out there know them. They do beautiful hand-blown clear glass that is like every wedding in the world has salmon pierced glass being given as gifts. It's just one of those things. And it's very famous in Vermont. They have stores all over the country, but they have 2 big glass blowing facilities in Vermont, and Hubbardton has teamed up with them on this fixture to do their glass. So it's a beautiful glass. There's a slight cost difference. The shape is a little bit different because it's a little bit more on the organic side, but you'll have it just gives you another choice on this fixture. So let's go back to the design of the fixture. So the design of this fixture, each of those rods that's used to make this are all hammered by hand by Hubbardton's artisans at their factory here in Castleton, Vermont, which is about 20 miles away from our showroom in Wallingford, Vermont. So you can see that each one is done by hand, and then they're all kind of put together using what's called a jig, and then going from there to finish up the fixture. Beautiful, beautiful work. Every once in a while they have an open house every few years, and you're able to go in and see this kind of thing done. But which is great with these videos is you get to see photographs of it already. Let's go into lamping. So these are going to be using what's called an A26 socket, and that's going to be just a normal, it's also called an A socket, and that's the socket you and I grew up with. It's a porcelain socket. The recommended bulb is an A19, and that's really the size. This is an LED. You can also use this kind of LED, and this comes in different sizes, which I'll show you in a second. A little smaller, but you can use either of these, and you can use these kind of Edison-looking ones. This isn't, like I said, an A15, which is a little smaller and a little smaller that way too, diameter-wise. This is an Edison bulb, which can also work in these, and it has that kind of old-timey look. This is also an LED. You can get these all over the place, especially online nowadays. But your only max is going to be for the heat generated by an incandescent bulb, which is going to be 100 watts in each of these. But when you get into LEDs, there's no limit because LEDs, they draw very little current and they make very little heat. So there really is no max. The max is the size of the bulb getting in the glass, but these glass options are pretty big. And you're probably going to be putting a dimmable LED in, I would imagine, anyway. So that's something you could do. You have all your finish options to play with. We have a very good finishes help guide. There are 9 finish options you can play with, and you can go to our finishes help guide, and there's a video to watch there, which is very important, and a chart for you to play around on to see what is available. So I think that is about it for this fixture. You've got the heights are all listed on your pull down menu, your finish options, your glass options, ships by truck, which we talked about a minute ago. Like I said, it's a robust and good sized fixture. So if you're really looking at this, just contact me so I can make sure that it's going to work for your design application, so it goes well, because that's what I'm here for. Okay, so love to see you in our showroom at some point. Unfortunately, we don't have this one on the floor, but we have, like I said, this video is going to show you a lot of information. But we do have 350 other Hubbardton forged fixtures for you to see. And we have a fabulous showroom that's open every day except Sunday. You can also call us every day except Sunday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern. Showroom is open from 11 to 6, and we also have these awesome vacation rentals in Vermont that you can check out too. Our sister site is called HandmadeInVermont.com, and you can check out some of our vacation rentals everywhere from like cool condos to big houses that are dog friendly. So, and we have a lake in town too, so you can bring your kids and spend the summer. If you have any questions, give me a call. I'm here for you. And thanks for stopping in. Take care. Bye-bye.